everyone, and welcome back to yet another exciting episode of the MyZone Online School. My name is Marisel Stoffberg, and today we have such a great lineup of lessons and teachers and videos. Oh, I'm so excited. So now, before we start, please remember to always sanitize your hands. And also remember that our theme for this week is washing your hands and washing them properly. So remember, you should always wash them for at least 20 seconds. And also remember your thumbs. We tend to forget these silly things. Please remember that is very important when washing your hands, to cover every bit of your hand, also your wrists. So now we will be going over to our pre-primary and grade 1 learners for week 3, lesson 3.
Explanation of symbols on worksheets are as follows. Use coloring crayons to color the picture. Use your finger to follow the track or line or show the correct picture. Use a coloring crayon to draw a line or write a number or sound. Look at the picture and say the number or sound out loud. Use a scissors to cut on the dotted line. Look at the picture. Use these symbols for the lesson of the day, which will be allocated at the top right side of each page. For example, lesson 1. Prepositions and directions.
Welcome to MyZone Online School. My name is Teacher Khwakus, and I'm joined by my friend. This week's lesson is all about my 5 senses. But before we start, let's sanitize our hands. It's important to do so that we can kill all the germs. If you don't have a sanitizer at home, please go ahead and use soap and running water. Today's lesson is all about letter O and handwriting. Let's go to page 13. Okay. We're going to practice writing letter O. Say O. 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 Off. On. Off. On. Off. Now we're going to try and write it on the blackboard. Just follow carefully with your eyes. We're going to start on top. Remember to go to your left. We're going around, down and up again. Start at the top. Remember to go to your left, around, up and stop. Now we're going to ask our friend to help us to write a O on the board. Good, well done, wonderful. Can we go to page 13 to do our exercise? This exercise is all about writing the letter O. And there's an ox in the corner. Can you say ox? Ox. Now let's start at the arrow and go around and up until we join the dot. Once more, start at the arrow, go around, up and stop at the dot. And the rest of it is at the bottom lower part. There you can practice how to write your letter O. Wonderful. Can you do the second page? You can do that all by yourself now. Let's move on to page 14. There is a different exercise on there. Can you see the picture of the octopus? Octopus. It's having a beginning sound and it's O. The second one, if you say it, ostrich. What sound do you hear at the beginning? The sound is O. Wonderful. Now what you have to do is draw a picture with the sound, with the same sound. So if you see, when you say the word and you can hear the sound, O, draw the picture next to it. But now let's go down to the bottom. There's a picture of an apple. What sound do you hear? Is it the same sound? I wonder whether you can work that out on your own. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Let's move on to page 15. Yeah, you will enjoy yourself. I can see. What do you think this picture is made of? Oh yes, it's a snail. It does not start with the same sound, but it helps you to form the letter O. So start at the arrow and follow the dots until you come to the middle. Well done. Now do the second one and the third one all by yourself. That was great.
Hi everyone, my name is Josie and I am Peg. My mommy used to tell me that I need to wash my hands and sanitize it to keep the germs away. Also, one thing you can remember is to sing the alphabet song while you wash your hands. After that, it will be super clean. I usually do it. And until next time, bye!
Teacher Lindina, you are the best. What a great lesson on handwriting and the letter O, Ross. So now we are going to be switching over to our grade 2 and 3 learners for week 3, lesson 3.
Well, hello there. Welcome to my Zone Online School. My name is Miss Guriras and I have Landra here with me. And this week's theme will be culture and cultural events. Before we start with our lesson for today, I would like for us to put on our mask. Take your hand sanitizer, sanitize your hands nicely, thoroughly, as well as between your fingers, around your thumb. Very good. Now that everything is in order, in place, we would like to start with today's lesson, which will be the word sums, data handling, as well as multiples of 3. Okay, now I would like for us to turn to page 14, grade 2 level, and we will start with the word sums. Word sums are almost like a riddle. I hope you guys like to have riddles. But there are rules that we need to follow. For example, read the sum carefully and you need to understand what you are reading. Circle the numbers in the word sum and draw the sum if you are struggling. And decide whether it's going to be a plus or a minus sum, and then you need to add the sum together at the end. For example, Peter has 4 apples. You can put 4 apples on one side. Sam has 3 apples. You put Sammy's apples on one side. Now, how many apples do they have all together? What do you need to do? Do you need to minus or do you need to add? That's correct. You need to add because we want to find the number of all the apples together. So we add the sum. That is how we do some of the word sums. Okay, let's quickly do more examples. Look at the examples there below. Do the following word sums. Teacher will do the first one with you. Let us quickly read. Mark has 9 pens. Only 5 of his pens still has ink. How many pens are empty? Remember, he has 9 pens and only 5 of these pens have ink. How many pens are all empty? What are we supposed to do? We need to take away the 5 pens away from the 9 pens. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to add or are we supposed to minus? That's correct. Whenever we have to take away, we always subtract. So you use the minus sign. 9 minus 5 will equals to 4. So the pens which are empty will be 4 pens. All right. Now I would like for you to do number 2, 3, and 4 on your own. Remember to always write the number sentence, okay? Let's turn to page 15. Now this is grade 3 level. And this one we call it also the problem solving. It's the same and similar as the word sums as well. Pardon me. But since we are busy with our problem solving, there are guidelines, rules that we need to follow. Okay. First of all, just like we did with the grade 2 level, we need to read the sum carefully. That's the first step. The second rule is we have to determine which calculation we can use. Should it be the plus or minus or division or the multiplication? But since we haven't touched on the division and the multiplication, we will only going to focus on the addition as well as the subtraction. And after that, we need to write the number sentence. Do you know how to write a number sentence? Okay, let me tell you quickly. For example, let's quickly take the example of number 1. A vendor sold 36 tons of tuna on Saturday and 18 tons on Sunday. We have 2 numbers there again, 36 and 18. That is the first sentence about the vendor. And now the second question says, how many tons did he sell all together? Now we want to find out the number of the tons he sold all together. So we need to write the number sentence first. We write the 36 and the 18. But between these 2 numbers, we have to decide whether it's going to be the addition or the subtraction. But since we want to find out the total of the tens is sold all together, we have to write the addition operation in the middle. And so we calculate. After we have calculated the number, we get our answer. And after we write the answer, we cannot just write the answer all alone, because we have to indicate what the answer should be. For example, the question says how many tins, so we have to indicate so tins were sold all together. And that one, we call it the word sentence. If you get a total, the total will be 54. 54. So he sold 54 tins. We've sold 54 tins all together, and that one will be our word sentence. Let's quickly do number 2 together as well, so that I can explain more. For example, a baker wants to sell all 63 loaves of bread that he is having on the shelves before he bakes fresh bread. How many loaf of bread does he have? It is 63 before he can bake another fresh ones again. Now, by 11 o'clock, he had sold 23 of the loaves. He sold it from the 63 loaves that he had. How many loaves are still left in his shop? What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to take away, or are we supposed to put together? Yes, that is correct. We are supposed to take away the 23 loaves from the 63 loaves. And then we will have the total of 40 loaves left, which he still needs to sell. Now you have it. First of all, you need to write the number sentence, and then you decide which operation you have to use. After that, you do the calculation, you get the total number, and then you have to write it in the word sentence. You have to write a word next to the word to indicate how many what was sold or how many what was left. Now, number 3, 4, and 5, I would like for you to do that at home. I hope you have enjoyed your previous lesson. During this lesson, we will focus on data handling. But what is data handling? It is to show and compare information on a graph form. Okay, let us quickly look on the graph that we have there. A graph normally has a title on top. So in this case, can we quickly read the sentence there? Amber drew a graph showing the amount of money she spent on cultural activities for the month of March. So there should be a title given to this graph here. Let us say, for example, since there are different activities that she did, we can say cultural activities can be the name of the graph. You can just underline for me the word cultural activities. That will be the name given to this graph. We have the graph, the name, on top of each graph. Then we have the lengths representing and comparing in bars. Can you see? For example, we have the bar for the sports. We have the bar going up for the art, drama, choir, and the dance. And on your left side, on the left axis, we have the numbers indicating how much money did she spend on all of these activities. All right. So let's quickly look on the first bar that says sports. How much money did she spend on the sports? So you go all the way up to where the bar is ending, and then you read the amount that you spent on the sports activity. How much was it? Yes, that's correct. She spent $50 on sports alone. $50. And on art, then you go to the art column, and then you go all the way up to reach the amount of the money she spent on the art activity. How much was it? 40. Very good, Landre. It was $40 that she spent on the art. Let's move on to the graph. You go all the way up until where the column, the bar of the drama ends. Where did it stop? 60. So it means how much money did she spend on the drama activity? 60 Namibian dollars. Very good. We go all the way to choir and dance. I would like for you to complete those ones as well. Let's quickly look at the grade 2 level questions. How much money did Ember spend on drama? So you go all the way to drama column where the drama is. You go up with the bars and check where it indicates how much money she did spend. And then you write the amount that she spent on drama. Number 2, how much money did Ember spend on sports? On which activity did she spend the most money? So you look at all the bars there. You compare all the bars and look which one is the biggest, the highest bar. And then you indicate the amount of money she spent on that specific activity. Now below we have the grade 3 level, and we also need to answer the questions based on the data handling we have there on top. For example, number 5, this is just a little bit one level higher than the previous one. How much money did she spend more? Can you underline the word more? On dance than art. Now this one is tricky. Now what does it mean? Whenever we see the word more, we want to know how much more she spent, the difference. The word more simply means what is the difference between dance and the art activity. So what do? Whenever we see the word more or the word difference, we need to know that we have to subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. So we have to write the activity, the amount of the drama activity, which is 60 Namibian dollar, minus the art activity, which is 40 Namibian dollar. And then you will have the total of 20 Namibian dollars. So which means she spent $20 more on dance than on art. I hope that's clear. It's a bit tricky. I would like for you, okay, let's quickly do also number 6 before I can actually give you more work at home. How much money did she spend on art and choir? So we have 2 activities here. We have art, which is 40 Namibian dollar, and we have the choir, which is also 40 Namibian dollar. But the question says, how much money did you spend? So which means we have to find the total for both the art and the choir. So we have to add them together to get the amount, which will be the 18 Namibian dollar. Okay? Now it's time for you to practice. I would like for you to practice number 7 and number 8 on your own. All right, and read carefully for you to understand the questions. All right. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed our previous lesson in data handling. All right, now I would like for you to turn to page 17. We are going to look at the multiplication of 3. All right, but what is a multiplication? How do we multiply? Let me quickly show you what you can do when you're multiplying something. Multiplying is actually when we are doing skip counting. In this way, we are going to skip counting in 3s. All right, we can either do skip counting or we can also do repeated addition. What does it mean? For example, if we have 3 plus another 3, plus another 3. This means we are repeating the addition. Ne? This way, we can do also the skip counting. Let us quickly count. 3, 6, and 9, which is the total 9. But now there's also a shorter way of doing this. We count the groups. We can group all of these 3s in a box. We can group them all in a box. How many boxes do we have? 3 boxes. And how many do we have in each box? We have 3 in each box. So that way we don't write the addition anymore. Whenever we are changing into boxes, we all just change the operation to multiplication. This is exactly the same as the one on top. This is just a shorter way of doing that. Now, so 3 times 3 will also equal to a 9. Let's quickly have another example. For example, also we can also change reverse. If we have 5 times a 3, how many boxes do we have, or how many groups do we have? The group is a number that normally appears here first. Ne? How many groups do we have? We have 5 groups. Very good, Landre. 5 groups. We have 5 groups. And what do we put in between? We put the plus sign. Beautiful. And what comes in each box? A 3. 3 comes in each of these boxes. Okay, now let us quickly do counting. We skip counting in 3s. Okay, we count 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. But that's a long way of doing it, don't you think so? Yes, instead of having the repeated addition, we can just write 5 boxes or 5 groups of 3 will still give us the total of 15. Now there's also another way. Multiplication of 3 has lots of or many tricks rather. Can you put out your hands, both hands? Can you turn them towards you? Can you see each of the fingers are divided into 3 segments? So we can also, whenever we get confused with our multiplication of 3, we can still continue counting on our segments that we have on our fingers, right? So let's quickly see here. If you say 1, 2, how many will be 2 times 3? So you count your segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in other words, 2 times 3 will give you a 6. Very good. Now how about a 3? 3 times 3, 9. 4 times 3, then we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we can always use our little hands to count in the segments. All right, let's quickly go back to our activity. Okay, so now here we are having empty boxes that we need to fill with the answers. All right, so we need to multiply. We have 3 circles. Can you see them? The biggest one outside circle is where the answers should be. The middle circle is the one that we need to multiply the 3 with. For example, let's take 10. 3 times 10. What will be the total of 3 times 10? Again, you can use your hands or your fingers to count if you don't know, or if you're struggling counting in 3s. So we can count 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. So 3 times 10 will give us the total of a 30. So that is what I would like for you to do. You multiply the numbers on the middle circle by 3, and then you write for me all the answers there on the outside circle. And that is all for this day. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember to count on your fingers. Let's quickly sanitize our hands. It's very important to keep our hands germ-free. And never take off your mask if you go outside as well. Zoshki will say goodbye for us. Hi, Zoshki. Bye. See you next time.
Hi everyone, my name is Shoshi and I am back. My mommy used to tell me that I need to wash my hands and sanitize it to keep the germs away. Also, one thing you can remember is to sing the alphabet song while you wash your hands. After that, it will be super clean. I usually do it. And until next time, bye!
Thank you, Teacher Guriras, for teaching us all about word sums and multiples of 3. Oh, I feel so smart right now. I just want to multiply everything by 3. So now we will be switching over to our grade 4 learners for week 3, lesson 3, science.
All the Namibian grade 4 learners, good morning. Welcome to my Zone online school. My name is Ms. Fotolela, together with Chanel. Before our lesson, we need to sanitize our hands. Let's take our sanitizers and then we spray. Rub your hands in and out between the fingers and practice the social distancing. Very good. Today's lesson, we will be discussing about the health education and personal health. Let's turn on page 16. Competencies. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to list the components of a healthy snack. Explain how healthy eating habits can improve your health. Before we start with the lesson, we need to understand some words that we will use during the lesson. The first word is a component. What is a component? A component simply means that different things that make up something, and a habit is something that you often do. List components of healthy snacks. Healthy snacks consist of natural food that contains the right nutrients such as whole grain, plant oil. For example, we have the seeds and the nuts. Fruits and vegetables. Now let's look on the board here. Whole grain. What are the examples of a whole grain? We have bread. Bread is made from whole grain, as well as wheat bix. Good. Plants that are seeds and nuts. Think of any food that is made up of seeds or nuts. We have the beans. What else do we have? And then the peanuts. Very good. Fruits and vegetables. We are aware of a lot of fruits and vegetables. We know a lot of them. Will you be able to mention
and vegetables. We have the apples, as well as the bananas. Now, let's turn on page 17. We are going to explain how healthy eating habits can improve a person's health. Eating healthy food provides nutrients to our bodies. It helps us to grow. It improves our health and builds a strong immune system. It provides the body with energy. Now, we are going to do an activity. You must be able to list the components of healthy snack and also to explain how healthy eating habits can improve our person's health. Let's just read through. Look at the picture and answer the following questions. Number 1, you list 3 healthy snacks. Number 2, you explain 2 ways how healthy eating habits can improve a person's health. Let's turn on page 18. You will find the memorandum of the activity that you just did now. This is the end of our lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and understand it very well. Remember to sanitize your hands every time. You rub your hands again between the fingers, and then we practice the social distance. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Shoshi and I am back. My mommy used to tell me that I need to wash my hands and sanitize it to keep the germs away. Also, one thing you can remember is to sing the alphabet song while you wash your hands. After that, it will be super clean. I usually do it. And until next time, bye!
Thank you, Teacher Fotulela, for teaching us all about health and health education. So grade 6s, I hope you are ready because it's week 1, lesson 1, science.
Welcome to MyZone Online School. My name is Mr. Masia. Let us also say hello to my friend. Today's grade 6 lesson is on natural science. But before we can begin, please let us remember to wear our facial mask and also let us use our sanitizer. So let us take a few squints in our hands and quickly rub our hands around and in there. Get around your fingers as well. And another important thing to remember is to keep the distance. So let us just stretch our arms on the sides as well as in front to ensure we are not touching each other. Today's lesson is puberty and sexual development. Let us now turn to page 17. Where we will look at puberty and sexual development. What are the basic competencies we will encounter during this lesson? You should be able to describe the differences between the reproductive organs of a male and female from given diagrams. You should also be able to explain the role of the basic structures of male and female reproductive organs. Vocabulary. What are the words that we will encounter during this lesson? One of the most important words to know is organ, which refers to a group of tissues working together. Now, this group of tissues can be self-contained, they can be inside the body of the organism, or they can be outside the body of an organism. Examples include the lungs, your heart, and your eyes. The next word is the human reproductive system. It is the system in the human body that reproduces and bears live offspring. In other words, it's responsible for making babies. Let us now turn over to page 18. You should be able to describe the differences between the reproductive organs of a male and a female from given diagrams. So here on page 18, we have two diagrams, one on the left and one on the right, of a male and female. The human reproductive system is so similar, and yet it is very different from each other, but there are a lot of complements to these bodies. Now, if you want to state a difference between the reproductive organs of a male and female from a given diagram, then we have to look at the organs that these body systems in-house. And for most of the male reproductive system, you will find that it is located outside of the man's body. And these external structures are the penis, the scrotum, and the testes. Most of the female's reproductive system is located inside the woman's body. The vulva is the only external organ, and it houses, yes, other organs, but it will be the only one visible from outside. Now, the male reproductive system also produces, maintains, transports, and nourishes sperm cells, and also adds a protective fluid that is going to protect this sperm cell. And this protective fluid, we refer to it as the semen. Now, once the semen has been deposited into the female's reproductive system, the female has another responsibility, which is to develop the fertilized egg into a baby. Let us now turn to page 19, where we will look at the female reproductive organs. Remember here that we are expected to describe the role of the basic structures of a male and female reproductive system. Let us turn to the chalkboard so we can discuss this in detail. Now on the chalkboard with me, I have the female reproductive organ. And we are now just going to label it, and afterwards, that is when we will look at the role of these structures. The first one that we have on my left here is the ovary. Now, the ovary is a structure that is both on the left side and also on the right side. That is the ovary. Then from the ovary, we have another structure, which is right here. It is actually a tube that is coming from the ovaries, and it goes all the way to another structure. This structure is known as the fallopian tube. And there are also two sets on this. Another name for the fallopian tube is the oviduct. Another name for the fallopian tube is the oviduct. Do not worry if you cannot see the words very well. You can just turn to your book on page 19 and you will be able to see the structures there. Okay, the next structure we are going to label is right here, and this structure we refer to it as the uterus. Refer to it as the uterus, and from the uterus we have a structure responsible for closing and opening known as the cervix. And from the cervix we have the vagina. Let us turn back to page 19 and look at our clear diagram. Now, on the diagram, you can see the labeled structures of the female reproductive organs. You are expected to be able to identify these structures and label these structures. The role of the basic structures of female reproductive organs. Let us discuss what is it that they do. Let us now look at the role of the basic structures of the female reproductive organs. Right at the bottom of page 19, you have a table that shows us the organ name as well as its role or use. The cervix is responsible for connecting the vagina to the uterus. And the uterus develops a fertilized egg into a baby, while the fallopian tubes or oviduct connects the ovaries to the uterus. And the ovaries produce egg cells and hormones. Let us now turn over to page 20, where on page 20, we will now look in detail at the male reproductive organs. Now, if we turn to the chalkboard, we will find that the male reproductive organ can actually look a little bit complicated when it comes to labeling it or following its structure. You have to have a starting point and an ending point. And for this structure, our starting point will be at the scrotum. Now, the scrotum is part of the external organs that hangs outside the man's body. But inside the scrotum, we have a structure known as the testis. We have the structure known as the testis, and from the testis, we have another structure which is coming from the testis going outwards, and this organ is referred to as the vas deferens. And the vas deferens goes on and connects to another structure, and this structure is referred to as the seminal vessel. And from the seminal vessel, there's another structure where it goes into called the prostate gland. From the prostate gland, there's another tube, and this tube is known as the urethra, and the urethra is in-housed by another structure referred to as the penis. The penis also hangs outside the man's body. Let us now go back to page 20 and look at our diagram there, how it is labeled. Remember I said we start all the way from the bottom, which is at the scrotum, and inside the scrotum we have the testis, and from the testis there is a tube connecting there called the vas deferens, and from the vas deferens we have a structure referred to as the seminal vessel. And from the seminal vessel, we go into a structure known as the prostate gland. And from the prostate gland, we have the urethra, which is housed by the penis. Please do not get confused with the urinary bladder. It is not part of the reproductive system. Let us go down to page 20, and on page 20 at the bottom, we have the role of the male reproductive organs. And this table shows on the left side the organ name, and on the right side the function or the use of these organs. To begin with, the scrotum. The scrotum is responsible for temperature control and protects the testes. The testes are responsible to produce sperm cells and hormones. And in order for them to do this, they require an optimal temperature that is provided by the scrotum. And once they have been produced, then the sperm cells and hormones must travel through the vas deferens to the seminal vessel. And the seminal vessel will then produce seminal fluids and nourishment of the sperm cell. So the sperm cell will need nourishment to keep it alive and healthy. And then from there, we have the prostate gland, which is responsible for producing fluids and nourishment, which will further aid the movement of the sperm cells. And all these contents will exit the male's body through the urethra out of the male's body. Let us now turn to page 21. On page 21, we have your activity 1, and here are your instructions to completing this activity. The first thing you need to do is study the diagrams that are provided for you. And once you have studied them in reference to today's lesson, only then can you complete this activity 1. And at number 1, you should describe any two differences between the male and female reproductive organs. So you look at the diagrams and then you describe any two differences between the male and female reproductive organs. And at number 2, you explain the role of the male and female reproductive organs below. A is the ovaries, B, uterus, C, oviduct, D, testis, and E, the prostate gland. Good luck with your studies, everyone. Please remember to sanitize after doing something like I'm currently doing right now. I am sanitizing. And from me and my friend is goodbye.
Hi everyone, I'm Joshi. And make sure to always make a helicopter circle, stretching your arms out and spinning around like me. And make sure you're not touching anyone while doing this. Goodbye!
Thank you, Teacher Masie, for that educational lesson on puberty and sexual development. So next, our grade 6s, I hope you are ready because it's week 2, lesson 2, science.
Hello, welcome to my Zone online school. My name is Ms. Beulah Aces, and I have somebody in my class, Pamoene. He's also in grade 6. Before we get into this, let us wear our mask. Sanitize our hands. Remember to rub it in properly between your fingers at the back of your hands. And make sure if there are other people around that you keep your 1 meter distance. Today's lesson is social health. So the topic is social health, but our focus today will be puberty and sexual development. Puberty and sexual development. Let us all grab our books, get a pencil, get a pen, and open on page 18. At the end of this lesson, you should all be able to discuss the physical changes that are taking place in boys and girls during puberty and the sexual responses that are taking place in boys and girls during puberty. You should be able to define sex and you should be able to define sexual intercourse. New terms we will be learning in this lesson. Only puberty is listed there, but there are so many other terms we will be learning. Orgasm, masturbation, wet dreams. Let us all turn to page 19. When we are between the ages of 7 to 19, boys and girls go through certain changes. I'm sure that when you look at yourself, when you take a bath, you have seen some changes on your body. So we will first look at the changes taking place in boys and then the changes taking place in girls. Pamoene will assist me by showing some of the changes that are taking place first in boys and then in girls. Puberty is the stage of sexual maturity. The stage of sexual maturity takes place from ages 7 to ages 19. Girls usually mature faster than the boys. So changes in the boys. First, you will see that boys will grow taller, the height changes. Another changes in boys is that there will be pubic hair. Pubic hair is the hair that grows under our armpits and hair that grows around our genitals. Pubic hair, hair growing under our armpits and hair growing around the genitals. Another change taking place in boys is that the body becomes muscular. You will start to see some muscles developing. Not all the boys will obviously develop muscles at the same time, but it's between 9 to 19, so your turn will come. Private parts enlarge in boys. You will see that your testicles and your penis grows bigger. So private parts enlarge. Some people are finding it funny, yes, but there is a change. If you look at yourself, you look at your little brother, you look at your older brother, you will notice those changes. Boys will start to produce sperm cells. In the previous lesson, when you learned the reproductive organs, you learned that sperm cells are produced in the testes. So boys will start to produce sperm cells. Shoulders broaden. For the boys, you will see that the shoulders are becoming a little bit flat and out, just to show that masculine shape. The voice deepens. Most of the boys in grade 8 still might have a squeaky voice, but your turn will come. Voice will deepen. And pimples appear. Not all the boys will get pimples. Some people's skin is different from the other. Some people get pimples in grade 6, others will only get pimples in grade 7. Some people might not even get pimples. So it differs from person to person. But pimples appearing is just an indication of puberty. Nothing much to worry about. Okay, we will now look at the changes that are taking place in girls. Kamoina, can you please hold this out? Thank you. Changes in girls. The very first one there shows pubic hair. From age 7 to age 19, girls can already grow pubic hair. Pubic hair under our armpits, pubic hair around your genitals. The breast will enlarge. They are already breast, but then they will just enlarge as your years go. You will see that your breasts are maturing. Some people, depending on your family, some people's breasts grow much faster. Other people's breasts take time to grow, but it is all part of puberty. Everyone's breast will mature. Girls start to produce egg cells. Egg cells are produced in the ovary. You also learned that in the previous lesson. Ovaries produce egg cells. So girls will start to produce egg cells. This is already an indication that the next thing is happening. Girls will start to get their menstruation. Your monthly periods will start. Nothing to be scared, nothing to be surprised about. Every girl will go through this. So when you get your menstruation, you share with somebody that you trust, and then they will guide you. Hips whiten in the girls. You will see that your body becomes more shaped. In the first example there, you can also see how the hips are forming so that people can see that, yes, this is a girl. So your hips will whiten. Your body becomes more shaped as a girl. Pimples appear in girls. Pimples appear. A lot of pimples disappear on their own. You just need to wash your face and let it dry. But some of the times, girls want to stress over the pimples and you press them and you apply all kinds of things. And then they are not going to disappear. So when those pimples appear, just let them be. It's just a stage of puberty. They will disappear. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So puberty, a stage of sexual maturity. Puberty happens between ages 7 to ages 19. Girls usually mature before the boys. But during that time, whether you are 7, 8, 9, or 10, any of those age, you will start to notice the changes that I just mentioned on your body. We are going to continue. We are still on page 19. Sexual responses in boys and girls during puberty. Sexual responses in boys and girls during puberty. The other ones that we mentioned were the physical changes. You are able to see those changes on your body. But now these are the sexual responses. Sexual responses are normal experiences, nothing to be afraid or embarrassed about. All of them are part of growing up. Everyone will go through them sooner or later. Just know that we can all control our sexual feelings. They are all in the mind. We are able to control them. So I'm going to explain 3 sexual responses. They are on page 20. 3 sexual responses that are taking place in girls and boys during puberty. The first sexual response is the feelings of attraction. Boys are attracted to girls, girls are attracted to boys. People are chasing each other around the whole day. For what reason, we don't know. But those are just indications that you are attracted to this person. Feelings of attraction. Another sexual response, masturbation. Masturbation is the self-stimulation of the genitals to achieve sexual arousal and pleasure. In simple words, it simply means touching yourself on your vagina or touching yourself on your penis. You are going to feel some kind of sexual desire while you touch yourself. That is masturbation. It's just part of a sexual response. You don't need to try it. You don't need to try it. You wait until you are 25. Another sexual response, wet dreams. Wet dreams, when a person orgasms involuntarily during their sleep. Experienced mostly in boys, then in girls. Wet dreams can be triggered by sexual thoughts. You are watching a sexual movie and you go sleep, then those wet dreams will be there, or you are watching naked pictures. So wet dreams can be avoided if you stick to your schoolwork, read only schoolwork. You will not have any issues with wet dreams because it is involuntary, yes, but you can control it. When we go through puberty, there is a lot that we need to do. One, if you have pubic hair, make sure that you cut your pubic hair. It's good that you want to show your friends that you have pubic hair, but if you do not shave your pubic hair, you are going to have some kind of smells under your armpits. There will be some kind of smells around your genitals. So shave. Use the right deodorants also. When girls start getting their menstruation, very much important, change your pad all the time so that it doesn't leak through on your dress or it doesn't become smelly. You need to be very, very feminine during this time when you have your menstruation. You can't be running around and jumping on the slides. You have to behave during this time. And also when you remove your pad, wrap it up in something and throw it away in the dustbins. Boys, when you have sexual feelings or feelings of attraction towards a girl, does not mean that you should be aggressive and force this person to want to like you. No. Just because you are attracted to the person doesn't mean they are also attracted. And sexual feelings can be controlled. Very much important to know that. Two very important terms that we need to know, as listed there at the bottom of the page, sex and sexual intercourse. People usually get confused between those two terms. Sex simply means your gender. When you complete forms, you will always see there that they write sex. Your sex is your gender. Are you male? Are you a boy? Are you a man? Male, man or boy? And female, are you a woman? Are you a girl? Female. So your sex is your gender. Then the other one is sexual intercourse. Sexual intercourse is the physical act between people involving the reproductive organs. When the penis enters the vagina, that process is known as sexual intercourse. Too much information that some people are receiving. It is very important that you receive sexual information so that you are able to protect yourself the right way. On the next page, page 21, you will receive self-assessment questions there that you need to answer. The first one, write down physical changes that occur in boys and girls during puberty. So you can mention 4 changes in girls and you can mention 4 changes in boys. Write down sexual responses that occur in boys and girls during puberty. Any sexual change that is happening in boys and in girls. Then the very last one, define sex and sexual intercourse. The memorandum is there at the back, but please do not jump to get the answers yet. Answer it first on your own and then take a pencil and mark yourself. See how much you have scored, and that is the only way that you can rate if you have understood. Okay, I so hope that you have enjoyed this lesson and that you have learned a lot about puberty and sexual development. I hope to see you in the next lesson. We will sanitize our hands once again every time that you do an activity, every time that you go out, before you eat, anything that you do, like the entire day, you have to sanitize. Keep busy, stay home, stay safe. Thank you. Social distance, remember. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Shashi. And Simon says don't touch your face, your eyes, your nose, and your mouth unless your hands are super clean. Bye!
Thank you, Teacher Isis, for that great lesson. So now we are very excited to introduce some content that our team gathered in the different regions in the country. So today it's in our Khomas region where we spoke to Ms. Catherine Vries, who's the inspector for Circuit 1 in the Khomas region.
Good morning. I'm Mrs. Vries. I'm the circuit inspector responsible for Circuit 1. The process of the collection of booklets for Circuit 1 is the following. I invited my principals to come collect their books on a weekly basis. So we pack everything that we received from the Monday to the Thursday and have it ready according to the number of learners at that specific school in the specific grade for distribution to schools, and then schools distribute to parents normally on a Monday or the next Friday after collection. We do this in this way so that we curb the movement of our teachers from schools to the regional office, and at school level, the movement of parents from home to school. So they basically just go once a week to the school, or in the case of the parents, to the regional office. And parents normally took these booklets home where they assist their children with the work, and they bring it back to school for marking and also for evaluation by the teachers on a weekly basis.
Thank you, Ms. Vries, for explaining to us how the different booklets are being distributed within Circuit 1 in the Khomas region. So now, before I say goodbye, my friend Elizabeth Joseph will be showing us an interview that she did with one of our teachers that we will be highlighting for today. But that's all. Please remember to wash your hands, stay safe, keep that smile, turn that frown upside down, and be safe. Bye!
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Joseph. Thank you so much for joining me for yet again a golden opportunity to hear firsthand from the teachers and lecturers of how it has been here at our offices at NMH, helping with the booklets in order to get those kids ready for when they come back to school. So first things first, please let's sanitize our hands. It has become like second nature for everyone to sanitize their hands as well as to wear their masks. So make sure that you also adhere to these regulations. So on my left, I have another guest. So I'll let him introduce himself and just run us through the processes here during this time of helping with the booklet. Sir, welcome. And thank you so much for being with us. So please just introduce yourself to me and the viewers and just run us through what you've been doing here.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Andre Kandundu. I'm a part-time lecturer at UNAM Commercial Campus in the Faculty of Education, Arts Education, and I've been involved with the changing online books.
All right. Can you tell me how the process has been for you? Like, how has it been to see this project come to life and to also know that you had a hand in it?
It's quite very beautiful being part of this noble process, because then we are also learning and just also realize that we needed this before COVID-19, also to prepare us for the Vision 2030 and soft skills, you understand?
Awesome. And lastly, this is going to be very fast, but lastly, please just, if there's a word of advice or a word of wisdom that you'd like to give to the students, can you please just tell them what's on your heart?
So what's on my heart is that Namibian child, be strong and use the available resources that are online right now, because I'm sure even after COVID-19, we are still going to look into e-learning. So the earlier we get to know this, or the earlier we familiarize ourselves with internet and e-learning, the better we go.
All right, so there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us in studio, and thank you as well, viewer, for always sticking to My Zone and making sure that we are your voice. You know, we always try to educate you the best that we can. So please stay safe and make sure you wear your mask and you sanitize. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.